distinguished guests, and my dear brothers and sisters. Allow me to read a joint memorandum to be submitted to Sri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister of India, by the United Naga Council, UNC, Naga Women's Union, and all Naga Student Association, Manipur. Joint Memorandum to Sri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister of India, South Block, Raisina Hill, New Delhi, 110011. Demand for immediate intervention on the proxy war against Naga by SU, suspension of operations, Kuki militants, and KNAB, Kuki National Army, Burma, and violation of the Framework Agreement of August 3rd, 2015 between the Government of India and the National Socialist Council of Nagaland and SCN, and a threat to India's frontier security by United Naga Council, Naga Women's Union, All Naga Student Association, Manipur and some, on May 9, 2026, at one-day peaceful solidarity protest organized by the Naga Students Union Delhi. Honorable Sir, we the undersigned civil society organization representing the collective conscience of the Naga people in Manipur, in this grave moment born of blood, fire, and betrayal, place this memorandum before your good office for your personal and urgent intervention. The Indo-Naga Framework Agreement signed on 3rd August 2015 was a covenant of hope. It recognized the unique history and position of the Nagas and committed the Government of India to an honorable and inclusive settlement based on shared sovereignty. While the ink of peace dries up, a proxy war is being waged upon the Nagas. Foreign-based militants operating under the cover of suspension of operation, SU, and the Myanmar-based Kuki National Army Burma, KNAB, are executing a campaign of invasion, demographic aggression, and ethnic cleansing in Naga ancestral homeland. The state has not only failed to protect us, its silence, its appeasement, and the partisan conduct of its forces have emboldened the aggressors. While Naga homes are bombed, kidnapped by foreign terrorists, and denied access to national highways in their own country, the social contract stands broken. This memorandum is therefore not a petition for favor, it is a demand for justice, a reminder of constitutional obligation, and an earnest call to honor the framework agreement before the frontier itself is lost. Grounds for intervention. Number one, notoriety and excesses of SU militant and KNAB. The suspension of operations agreement has become a license for territorial expansion. SU cadres and KNAB militants operate in tandem, engaging in targeted killings of Naga civilians, burning of ancestral villages, highway terrorism, and systematic extortion. The SU agreement ground rules are violated on a daily basis in both letter and spirit. Number two, proxy war in violation of the framework agreement. The framework agreement of August 3rd, 2015 was premised on ending conflict and recognizing Naga rights. The Government of India's continued appeasement of Kuki armed groups, despite their aggression against Nagas, clearly constitutes a proxy war against the very people with whom it had signed the historic framework agreement. This duplicity strikes at the very foundation of the agreement and the credibility of the Union. Number three, fabricated claims over Naga ancestral territory. Historical records are unambiguous. Cookies entered Manipur only in the 1940s, are mercenaries and coolies of the British colonial administration. They are not indigenous to these hills. The current narrative of Kuki ancestral land is a post facto fabrication engineered to legitimize occupation of Naga territory. No policy of the Republic can reward such a historical expansionism. Number four, aggression as repayment for humanitarian hospitality. After 3rd May 2023, when the Meitei Kuki violence broke out, Naga villages sheltered thousands of displaced Kukis and treated them with compassion. They enjoyed the best of hospitality provided by the Nagas during that harrowing time. Even till recently, around 300 Kuki refugees from Myanmar who had fled the violence in Myanmar were living in Namli, Wangli, Naga villages. But today, in an unbelievable twist, the children of these refugees have been inducted into People's Defense Force, PDF or KNAP, and participated in the arson of Namli, Wangli, and Choro, and in driving their hosting Naga villagers into the forest. Our hospitality has been repaid with fire and with bullets. Number five, cross-border invasion and sustained aggression in Naga area. Kuki armed groups have perpetrated grave excesses in Liangmai and Inpui Naga area through intimidation, extortion, and forceful encroachment of village lands, inscribing Kuki land to mark their preposterous claim. Sinakaitai Naga village remains the main target and has been subjected to bombing and firing every night since 7 March 2026, while Central Security Forces posted there stood as a mute spectators. An undeclared war continues against Naga villages of Litan, Es Laho, Sakarfung, Thoi, Sinakaitai, and Ringli, which are being held under siege by Kuki militants. On May 7, 2026, about 100 KNAB militants breached the international Indo-Myanmar border and razed Toro, Namli Wangli, and Kaka village to the ground. 3 Naga villagers were kidnapped by the foreign terrorists, committing an act of direct invasion on India's sovereignty. For decades, the Nagas have stood as the sentinels of India's eastern frontier, unarmed villagers guarding an international border, upholding the Union without demand for reward. Today, those same villages lie in ashes. If the sentinels of the frontiers are left defenseless, where is internal security of the Republic? Number 6, partisan security architecture and collapse of public trust. That about 100 foreign militants could attack Indian villages within 24 hours of the security inspection by Central Security Forces on 6 May 2026 is indefensible. These forces stood by while Nagas were shot and villages burned down. On the other hand, the same forces act with disproportionate force upon Naga villagers. The Naga people have lost all trust in central security forces. The Manipur state forces must, of necessity, to replace them. Number 7, use of military-grade weaponry proves cross-border invasion, not voluntary activity. The 7 May 2026 attacks on Namli, Wangli, Chore, and Kaka were not ethnic clashes, but a foreign cross-border military invasion on India by Myanmar-based Kuki militant. This is substantiated by number 1, deployment of drone warfare. Tangkul Naga Long, TNL, the apex civil organization of the Tangkul Naga tribe, reports that civilian settlements were also heavily bombed with drones. Drones are military assets regulated under DVCA and Ministry of Home Affairs. Village volunteers do not possess armed drones. Their use confirms involvement of an organized armed group with foreign supply chain. Number 2, use of rocket launcher and 40 breech loading guns. TNL statement records attacks using rocket launcher and Lafos breaching loading 40 guns. These are crew-served military-grade weapons prohibited for civilian possession under the Arms Act 1959. Sioux ground rules explicitly bar such weaponry. Coordinated assault by around 100 heavily armed cadres. Both Tangkul Azek Katam Nolong, TAKL, and TNL placed the number at around 100 armed KNB militants who crossed the Indo-Myanmar border into Kamjong, Ukhul district in Manipur, India. The scale, coordination, and cross-border movement meets the legal definition of a foreign armed incursion, not a local law and order issue. Number 4, targeting of civilian settlements 200 meters from Assam Rifles post. TNL states the attacks occurred just about 200 meters from the 11th Assam Rifles Company station between Choro and Aloyo, conducting bombardment and arson in close proximity to Indian security forces, demonstrates intent to challenge the sovereignty of the Indian state on its own territory. 5. Village Volunteer East Zone VVEZ admission of Myanmar-based elements. The VVEZ press release admits Myanmar-based SNA, Sani Nationalities Army, elements have extended operational assistance. The SNA is an insurgent group allied with the Myanmar Tatmadaw. Its participation in attacks on Indian villages constitute direct foreign aggression under international law. Number 6, uniforms and command structure. As per Kukomi, a conglomerate organization of Meitei civil society organizations and eyewitnesses report attackers wore military camouflage and operated in formation. The Arms Act 1959 and UAPA prohibit civilians from donning combat uniforms. This confirms that the VVEZ is not a volunteer body but the uniformed KNAB, an unlawful association waging war against India. Conclusion: the use of drones, rocket launchers, 40 guns, and 100 uniformed cadre crossing an international border to burn Indian villages is an act of invasion. Under Article 355 of the Constitution, the Union is bound to protect every state against external aggression. The Government of India must therefore treat the May 7, 2026 and honor the letter and spirit of the Framework Agreement of 3rd August 2015. Peace cannot coexist with proxy aggression. Number two, immediate military eviction of illegal Kuki militants. Launch decisive operation to flush out KNAB, PDF, and all Sioux cadres violating ground rules from Liang Mai and Inpui Naga area, Ukru, Kamjong, and Kangpoki districts, and all other Naga areas. Number three, absolute guarantee on Naga territorial integrity. Issue a categorical policy declaration that no form of autonomy, separate administration, or territorial council shall be carved out of Naga ancestral land for the immigrants that arrived in Manipur in the 1840s as British mercenaries. Number four, restore access and sanitize national highways. National highways are currently inaccessible to Nagas and other communities due to explicit terrorist activities carried out by illegal Kuki militants. The National Highway Ukru-Imphal Road remains cut off due to the presence of Kuki terrorists on the mountain ranges along the said route. The government must sanitize all national highways, dismantle illegal armed checkpoints, and ensure safe, unrestricted movement of citizens, students, and essential goods. Fix accountability through judicial inquiry. Constitute a time-bound judicial inquiry into the 7 May 2026 cross-border invasion and the sustained attacks on Naga villages since 7 March 2026 to establish culpability for security and intelligence failures. 6. Conclude inclusive Indo-Naga settlement. Expedite a final, honorable, and inclusive settlement of the Indo-Naga political negotiations based on framework agreement signed between the government of India and NSCN. Only a just peace can secure India's eastern frontier and end the cycle of violence. In conclusion, respected Prime Minister, the Naga people have chosen the path of peace. We signed the framework agreement in good faith. We shelter the displaced in good faith. We have waited in good faith. That fact is now bleeding in the jungles of Kamjong, Ukru, and Kangpoki. If foreign militants can occupy Indian villages, bomb Indian citizens, and control Indian highways while the Union walks in silence, then the constitutional promise to each scheduled tribe and the territorial integrity of the Republic are both in question. We demand action, not tomorrow, but today. The frontier cannot wait. The framework agreement cannot wait. The life of the sentinels cannot wait. Submitted in collective urgency and hope, signed by NG Lohor, President, United Naga Council, signed by CH Priscilla Tumai, President, Naga Women's Union, signed by TH Angtesang Maring, President, All Naga Students Association, Manipur. Thank you, Kuknal.